What's going on, guys? One love out to everybody. We got Bellator 270, Pitbull versus Queally, part 2. Rematch here, guys. The first fight there, Pitbull got cut by an elbow, so the fight was stopped because of a cut, right? So they're gonna be rematching. This card is gonna be over there in Dublin, and it's at 2 p.m. on Friday, which is tomorrow, right? Eastern time. It's an interesting card. They got a couple good fights in here. I'm going to jump right into this, guys. I'm not going to spend too long because I got to do the UFC. So it's going to be real quick, guys, but accurately. All right. Couple fights fell off the card, so a little bit of changes here. I'm not going to be doing this Steven Costello fight here. I mean, you see, when fights are like this, when the guys are making their debuts, I don't like to mess around with it too much because sometimes you can't find the fights. And if you do fight the fights, you know, it's maybe like an amateur bout or something like that. You know, it just takes up too much time to look through that. So I'm going to skip that fight. So it's 12 fights, but you guys are getting 11. All right. So first fight here, we got Junior. Okay, I forgot, guys. Smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe to my Patreon account for all the face-off predictions, all of the prop bets, and also some combination parlays. Remember, these original plays that I'm giving you here, I don't look at the odds, and I don't look at the face-off and weigh-ins. So I look at that afterwards, and then I make a different play for my Patreon account. So that's why I say sign up to the Patreon account, because the fights that I'm not too sure about on the original, I could switch it, you know, on my Patreon account. And also I'm going to be making prop bets also, which I drop on the Patreon account. So you guys sign up to the Patreon account. All right. First fight here, we got Junior Morgan versus Darragh Kelly. Here, guys. Junior Morgan here. He actually fights at 155 and 170, but it seems like he was going to cut down to 145, but they changed it. I guess the weight cut was too much for him, probably. Like I said, guy, I don't look at the weigh-ins and any face off yet or anything like that, but it was supposed to be 145, man. So I was thinking like, man, this guy walks around at 155. Actually, he walks around at 170. He's going to cut to 145. So maybe the weight cut was too much for him, probably. So they're going to have it at 155. Morgan here, he's going to be the more experienced guy here, right? I mean, his striking looks okay, man. It doesn't look like he has some bad striking there. He fights long, he picks his shots, but he can get taken down though, right? He's going to have the 2 inch of height. And he looks to have the longer reach. Doesn't say here, but from footage I see, he looks like he has a long reach. And like I said, his striking is more in and out striking, and it doesn't look bad, man. All right. His opponent here, Kelly. Kelly is actually making his debut, but he has a good amateur, right? He has like a it says here 9-0, but showing here 8. So he has a good amateur. He has never lost, right? Remember, a lot of these guys are going to be from SBG fighting, so there could be some favoritism here going along because the fights is in Ireland, so you know, he's going to be hometown favorite. So a lot of these fights, you could have robberies on it if it goes really close or goes to the judges. So you could see a lot of split decision for these guys based on how they perform, right? Kelly loves the ground game here. He will look for the submission, and he has a strong wrestling base, so he's more of a grinder, right? His stand-up is not on the level of Morgan. Like I said, Morgan is a more experienced guy here, and Morgan is actually 3-0. So we have seen fights when, you know, you have guys who with supposedly good wrestling come in here and fight these guys here, you know, who are undefeated with 3-0 professional record, and they lose. So this is a fight where you gotta be careful. And plus, Morgan has even an amateur here, even though he's amateur here. He's, hold on there, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's 4-3 with his amateur. So you have to be careful with these fights here. But what I see from Kelly's supposed to can win this fight. You know, because his takedowns, his wrestling is better than Morgan's own. And Morgan is more just a striker. And Morgan, you know, his takedown defense, I mean, it's okay, but he can get taken down. You know what I'm saying? But Kelly is very elusive. He's going to keep pushing. So this is a fight where I'm going to go for Kelly, guys, but I'll be careful with this one because I could see Morgan pulling off a win here, man. I can see Morgan probably even getting a knockout. So because, as I say, Morgan fights long and his striking is not bad, right? He keeps you at range. So be careful with this one, man, to be honest with you. But the only reason I'm going for Kelly because of the wrestling, and Morgan can get taken down. So I'm going to go Kelly here, guys. And I'm going to say Kelly by submission in the second round. But I'm not confident, and be very careful with this one. Could be upset, all right? I'm not sure who's the favorite here, but I'm probably going to say it's Kelly, which doesn't make sense to me because Morgan is a more experienced guy, and he's 3-0, and you know, he's just more proven. But again, so be very careful. But Kelly by submission second round. Next fighter, we got Danni Neilan versus Andrei Korosh. And next fighter out of Ireland here. Neilan here, she throws, right? She's kind of wild, but her head is kind of straight up, man. Straightforward, head is high. A lot of forward pressure, but can get knocked down. But she will recover and keep moving. She'll also look for the takedown, right? She's undefeated also, 4-0. And she has an amateur record here also. Like I said, a lot of these SBG fighters are trying to give them a shot to get a win. So this card is most likely set up for the Ireland people to win. So that's why I say you gotta be careful with it. Her opponent here, Andrei. Her opponent here, Audrey, she wants the submission, man. Her striking is not good, right? She wants the submission. So she's gonna grind for the submission. The more experienced person here is actually Andrea, but her record is not good. As you can see, the people she fought, more of a padded record here, right? She wants to take this fight to the ground. Reading from my notes here, guys. Looks for the submission. But like I said, her striking needs work, though, man. It's a possibility she could submit Neilan. That's very possible. But like I said, Neilan just probably, you know, just stopping takedowns and keep the fight on the foot. Because like I said, Andrea's striking is not good, and she will push for takedowns, and sometimes she doesn't get it. So I would say decision by Neilan, guys. But this is a fight here I'd be very careful with too, because for the reasons I tell you. You know, they're trying to give these guys your wins, but you never know. It could be upset. Okay? But I'm like Neilan here, and I'm going to say Neilan by decision, but I'm not confident. Be careful, okay? Next fight here. We have Nicolò Solli versus Bobby Pallett. Didn't I break this fight down? Nicolò Solli. I thought I did this fight. Hold on there for a second, guys. Nicolò Solli. Yeah, I did do this fight, didn't I? Missing a fight here, guys. Give me 1 second here. Lee. Okay, here we go. Because these cards was all scrambled everywhere because they drop guys off and they change up the listing of the guys and how, you know, who fights first and whatever. Solli here. Let me see. Solli is going to be a hometown favorite, again, SBG Ireland fighter. So it's the next guy out of Ireland again. He looks well rounded. He will strike and also look for takedowns. Also look for submissions, and he's very aggressive, man. Very wild dude here, man. He will come at you, and very wild guy. He will push forward and then keep that pace on you, right? His opponent here, Bobby Pallett. Bobby Pallett has a black belt in kickboxing, purple belt in BJJ. He wants to strike. Let me see here. He will stick and move and throw heavy body kicks and keep that pressure on you. He doesn't look bad in the clinch either. You know what I'm saying? He will clinch up with you and tie you up and hold you against the cage. So his clinch game is not bad. Also look for takedown and also look for the submission, but he hasn't fought since 2019, right? Solik here, forgot to mention something about Solik. Solik can get control in the clinch. And Solli will slow down after first round and can get taken down, right? I'm actually liking Bobby Pallett here, guys. And I just feel Pallett is just... I feel Pallett is more of a... It's more well-rounded, more of the seasoned fighter here. Again, I could be wrong because, again, he's dealing with an SBG fighter out of Ireland. So, as I said, Solli could win the fight, man. It's a strong possibility. But I'm liking Bobby here, guys. Let me see here. Bobby's also making his Bellator debut here. But I just like what I see from him more. I mean, from what I remember. I watch footage on every single one of these guys, man. Solli last his last fight in Bellator against George Hardwick. And he won 2 fights here against a 0-0 and against Daniele Castle. Triangle choke. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Pallett here, but this one I'm not confident, guys. And I'm gonna say Pallett by KO TKO in the 3rd round. But again, like I said, the SBG fighter is gonna be Solli. So I'm not confident in this, but Bobby Pallett by KO TKO in the 3rd round, guys. Alright? Not confident. Next fight here. We have Gökhan Saricam versus Charlie Milner. This one is a short notice for Milner. Gökhan here, he's pretty well-rounded guy. He's pretty quick for a big guy too. Strong wrestling base. He got hands. He will let the hands go, and he got speed on the hands too. He will look for the knockout and also look for the ground and pound. So most of the time he take you down and then get a knockout from the ground and pound, right? He has a killer instinct here. This guy will he will go straight at you and then just unleash, bam, 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 and then he looks for the finish, right? His opponent here, Charlie Milner. Charlie Milner seems to be a striker, and it comes out more from the bare knuckles. A lot of bare knuckle matches here. His record is really, really, really super. This is probably the... Well, I wouldn't say the... Well, yeah, it could be probably one of the worst padded records I've seen. Everything is 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1 and 0. Yeah, he's going to have the 9-inch reach, though. He has an 8 or 5-inch reach, so he's going to have a 9-inch reach. But like I said, you can have 9-inch reach, but if you don't know how to use it, then it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make a difference. Yeah, I mean, you might as well have no reach at all. You know what I'm saying? From what I see from his footages, I mean, he's going to be the big guy. He's a big guy, man. This is a big guy, but skill-wise and well-roundedness, I have to go towards Gökhan for that, man. I think Gökhan is more of the more well-rounded guy here, man. And I'm confident in this pick, guys. I'm going to say Gökhan by KO TKO, guys, in the 1st round, and I'm confident. Next fight here, guys. We have Lee Chadwell versus Arunas. Wow, man, this is a hell of a last name. Andriuskevicus. Chadwell here. Let me see here. Chadwell here. He can get sloppy at times with his striking. His striking looks suspect because he likes to run forward and his chin is out and like to swing. His main thing is to look for the submission, right? I believe he has like, I want to say like 16 by submission. I could be wrong. He has a lot by submission though. So his thing is to pin you against the cage. And then once he gets you against the cage, then he takes you down. He doesn't really shoot from a long distance for double or single legs. He likes to pin you up, push against the cage because it's easier for him. Because to shoot from a long distance in the middle of the octagon is for some guys is a little tougher. He has 14 by submission and 6 by KO. Been knocked off 4 times and been submitted 5 times, right? He will also look for knockout, like I said. Strong in the clinch. Let me see here. I'm just reading from my notes here, guys. He likes to pepper you up though in the clinch. So dirty box you in the clinch, throw a little short knees, short elbows, short uppercuts, like, you know, like a dirty boxing kind of vibe there, right? But once he's at distance, to close the distance for him, he just runs towards you. And you could have the chin up and he just throwing like like hook punches, like wild hook punches. Right, a lot of overhands, and his chin is exposed. His chin is always open, man. His opponent here, Arunas. I actually like what I see from Arunas. Arunas is a pretty good striker, man. He's very accurate, and his defense is pretty good. Arunas is going to have the 3-inch of height and the 3-inch of reach. He looks well-rounded. Will look for the takedowns, but hasn't fought since 2019. So a lot of these guys haven't fought in a little while, right? He's not active too. So he fought one time 2019, no 18, a couple times in 17, but he's not too active fighter. Let me see here. Striking doesn't look bad, like I said. He has nice exits. That's one thing I noticed about him. His exit is very good. So if you're a wrestler and you're trying to pin him against the cage, and this is perfect, if Lee trying to put him against, Lee's going to try to get him against the cage. If Lee pin him against the cage, he exits. Either go to his left or right. So he always pushes off and lateral move. And that's why a lot of guys, some guys don't like to do that. They like to just go against the cage and stay there. He doesn't stay against the cage. He always exits either left or right. A lot of circular movement, and he will unload when he's ready. Right? And he has a good gas tank. So I'm impressed with Arunas here. I like the way how he moves. I like his exits. I like how he doesn't stay against the cage, and he keeps the fight where he wants to keep it, which is long range. Right? So he's a very technical guy. And with Lee's an experienced guy. I'm not going to take anything away from Lee, but the way how he's striking, the fight starts standing up. The way how he strikes, he has no setup. He just runs towards you, and his chin is open. His main thing is his ground game. But what I see from Arunas, he always sidesteps and exits. And he doesn't, let you implement, your skill. Like if you want the ground, he's not going to let you implement that. He's going to kind of defend against it, right? And then he will go on the offense on you, which is throwing he throws a lot of front kicks, but then he throws a lot of jabs too. But he sets up off the jab, and he throws very, very heavy. So I'm liking Arunas here, and I'm gonna say Arunas by KO/TKO in the first round, but it could go a little longer because Lee is a very tough guy, and Lee's a durable dude. He can take a lot of hits, man. He can take a lot of punches and keep coming. But he's open though, and Arunas can hit. So I'm gonna say Arunas KO/TKO in the first, but I'm not confident. For the simple fact that Lee Chadwell is very experienced, and if he can get this fight to the ground, Arunas may be in problem because I haven't really seen Arunas too much on the ground. So that's the thing. So be careful with this one, but I'm liking Arunas, and I'm going to say Arunas KO/TKO in the first round, guys. Not confident. Next fight here, we have Daniele Scatizzi versus Brian Hooi. This one's a tricky one for me, because both guys are slightly similar in a kind of a way, but then once I watch more footages, I noticed that they're not too similar. With Daniele here, Daniele, he looks for takedowns, and that's basically it. His stand-up is not there. He doesn't know how to set up his hands with his feet. He doesn't have a stand-up base, so there's no boxing base. There's no kickboxing base there, right? So he doesn't know how to set up a jab straight. He does throw punches, but it's sloppy and he's open, right? So what he likes to do, he likes to just rush and try to get a takedown and maybe try to look for a submission or a ground and pound you. And that's why if you look on his record, you see a lot of knockouts, but his knockouts are mostly coming from the ground and pound because it seems like he has a wrestling base there. So he wants to rush and then try to get a takedown and then try to ground and pound you. And then if he doesn't get it, then he gasses out. So this is a guy that, he rushes for it. 6 by knockout. So he rushes to get it, and if he doesn't get it, he starts to gas. Right? He will also look for the submission, but he has 1 by submission. His stand-up, like I said, is suspect. He doesn't have a setup. He doesn't have no foundation. His base, how you have a stand-up base? Like you use a jab, follow the straight, maybe throw them washi-gary and follow up with the straight. He doesn't have anything like that. He's like rushing forward. He's throwing overhands. He misses. Then he's trying to go for takedown. It's like his game planning and his technique and his foundation is not there. Like I said, he will gas. The only thing about him is physically strong. So, his opponent here, Brian Hooi. Brian Hooi will also look for the takedowns, look for the submission, and look for the knockout too, right? But the thing about Brian has, I believe, kickboxing fights and he has boxing matches, which I see. So Brian can throw the hands, and his hands don't look bad. His hands is better than Daniele. I mean, if I look at the way how Daniel strike, Daniel has no striking. At least Brian has a jab and follow up, right? So like I said, yeah, so he's a better striker than Scats, right? The ground game, Scats may probably have the better takedown in the first round, but if this fight gets up to the first round, then Daniel is done, because I could see Brian winning the fight. But again, anything is possible here, guys, because I don't think Scats from Dublin. He's from Italy, right? So this fight again is a not confident ones, because both of these guys are. I mean, I would say Ho's more the skilled guy here. But Daniel is like, there's a lot of holes in his game, man, a lot, especially striking and his cardio. So I have to go with a Ho here for the win, and I'm gonna say a Ho by decision, but I'm not confident in this one either, guys. So this one you have to be very careful. You see, a couple of these fights in this card, you have to be very careful, and I tell you to be careful because the matchups are just up in the air. It's like heads or tails. It's just hard to decide because the skill levels is just not there. So, but I'm gonna go with a Ho here. I'm gonna say a Ho by decision, guys. I'm not confident. Next fighter, we got Ciaran Clarke versus Jordan Barton. Clarke here will look for the ground. He's a grinder. Will also look for the submission, but his striking looks suspect, meaning that he may throw some jabs there, but he can't keep the pace with the striking. So he can't get into like say a boxing match or a kickboxing match. He will always drop for the takedown, single, double leg, and then he will get it, right? I notice about his amateur though, it doesn't look good. His amateur is like 13-10, right? His amateur doesn't look good, but some wins, losses here, wins and losses. But I mean, in his professional, he hasn't lost yet. Fought a 1-0, and he fought an 8-1 guy and beat him, right? His opponent here, Jordan Barton. Jordan Barton is a better striker here, right? Actually strong in the clinch, and could be the physically stronger here, guys. And his scramble is not bad because he gets taken down. I think that's his issue. He gets taken down, but he can scramble back up, right? Let me see. He will look for the reverse at times and try to win the round, right? But I watch a lot of fights on Barton, and he does the same thing. He be striking, and he can take him down. He can take him down. So every fight I see, if I run through the fight, he's always on his back. And a guy like Clarke is obviously gonna take him down. He's gonna keep taking him down. But this is a fighter, guys. You have to be careful because Barton is not a bad fighter. He just keep getting taken down. But if he makes changes in it, if he come in there and then work on his takedown defense, you could see him winning this fight because his striking is not bad. If he can stop Clarke from taking him down and keep the fight long, then Clarke could lose this fight. So this is the next fight where you gotta be careful with. And Clarke is from Dublin, so this is the next fight here that you gotta be careful. You gotta be very careful with, guys. I'm gonna go with Clarke for the win here, just for the fact that Barton just keep getting taken down. He doesn't stop it, and Clarke is gonna look for takedowns. Barton also look for the submissions too. And like if you look at Clarke's amateur record here, he does get submitted. He does get knocked out. So be careful with this one, guys. Like I said, sign up to my Patreon account, because at the Patreon account I could have changes. I could have prop bets, because some of these fights I'm going to change also depending on the odds, because I could definitely see Barton winning. So be careful. And I have Clarke for the win here. I mean, professionally wise, Barton is a more experienced, on the professional scene here. But his record is not the greatest as far as guys he fought. 0-17, 1-0, 0-1. He went to a split decision, 2-0. Lost to a 3-0 guy. So I'm going to Clarke here, and I'm going to say Clarke by decision, just for grinding and keeping the fight where he wants to keep it. All right. Next fight here, guys. We have Ilias Bulaid versus George Sasu. This is a pretty good fight here, guys. This is one of the fights in the card that I'm looking forward to. Bulaid is a pretty good kickboxer, man. This guy have, I think, over 50-odd kickboxing matches. This guy is Dutch kickboxing. He's very, very sharp, man. clean striking, dude. Like combination. He follows up. Speed, his hand speed. Got quick hands, quick combination. He's explosive. He will also look for sweeps and trip, and he will also look for trips and sweeps. He can also get takedowns too. He will look for takedowns because he's trying to work on his ground game more. The only thing that he only has 2 MMA matches and it's all 0-0. So not much experience in the MMA realm. And we're seeing guys who box and kickbox. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, they're good at it, but then when you get to the MMA, the guy who's a little more well-rounded will usually win the fight because he can get takedown and he can wrestle. Or he has Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or submission game. Even though he's working on it, it's still not his strength. His strength is a stand-up, it's a kickboxing. You know, it's a Muay Thai, the Dutch kickboxing. I mean, this guy, Bulaid, is sharp, man. His striking is very, very, very sharp, guys. I'm very impressed with him, right? His opponent here is Sasu. Sasu looks pretty well rounded to me, man. But his striking seems okay at times, but then his face can be there to hit, right? But one thing I noticed though, he looks for takedowns. He will look for the takedowns consistently, right? He will strike, then go for takedown. So he's just not going to strike with you. The guys that strike with Bulaid, those guys were basically strikers, and they stay striking with him. Sasu is going to go for takedowns. When you start mixing it up from stand-up to ground, makes a whole different. That takes away your stand-up after a while, and then you're dealing with cardio. And cardio play an issue, and after a while, you're not as quick anymore standing up, right? Sasu to me is a more well-rounded guy here, but he hasn't fought since 2018. If Bulaid could come in here and you know, get a knockout, which he can, real quick, it's possible, then yeah. He has his speed and his counters, but Sasu's striking is not bad. If Sasu had no striking then I would say, okay. And he's just a straight wrestler, then maybe. But even then, because the wrestling, you know, once you get a double single leg, you can take the guy down. And Bulaid did get taken down in a fight here against, I believe it was Diego. He got taken down, I think, I want to say in the second round, he got taken down in a fight, or the third round. So it's a fight where I'm liking Bulaid for the win. I feel Bulaid is very skilled, but it's his ground game. He doesn't show much ground game, man. So it's difficult to pick him against a guy who's more rounded. This doesn't make sense. So I'm gonna go with Sasu for the win, but I'm not confident, guys, in this one at all. And I could see Bulaid getting a knockout here. You know what I'm saying? I could see him doing it because the guy is very skilled, man. And Sasu striking is very skilled too, but Bulaid is just Dutch kickboxing style, his speed and his hands, his combination, the way how he slips and take his body off center line, his whole body. He will switch corners on you, a lateral movement around, and then strike, bam, bam, bam. The guy is skilled, man. But I'm going Sasu though. I'm gonna say Sasu by decision, but I'm not confident, so I could see Bulaid winning. So this fight here, guys, is an even. It's an even fight to me. So Sasu by decision. Not confident. Next fight, we got Daniele Welch versus Pedro Carvalho. Welch here, man, is going to be the more experienced guy here. I feel his fight against Keon Diggs, he went to a split, but I felt that Diggs could have won that fight too. But it also showed that Welch still has some fight in him, right? So I just feel like Welch still has it, right? And he only loses to, like, you know, to decent guys, Emmanuel Sanchez, Gatti, Yamauchi, Patricky, Pitbull guys, you know what I'm saying, twice. You know what I mean? But the fight against Diggs was close. But if you look at Welch has a massive submission game. He can take it down. He's well-rounded. The guy's very, very, very experienced, and his submission game is where it's at. His striking is kind of strange at times because it looks like he's open, but he's not. Because he will move his head at times, but sometimes he does get hit, but then he will land the punches on you though. It's kind of an awkward kind of movement, but he makes it work for him. If you want to say, he's very unorthodox, if you want to say. His opponent here, Pedro. Pedro can get taken down, but he will reverse position. He will also look for the takedowns. And what I see from him, he seems very chinny. Like, slight touch and he can go out. In his last two fights here, he got knocked out. In in the Patricky Pitbull fight, he got caught. Didn't even look like a like a big shot. It was very close shot, a very close right cross, and he got knocked out. And Wilson was a ground and pound. I just feel Carvalho he hasn't really fought nobody. I mean, he fought Pitbull and Wilson, but I mean, if you look at Pitbull is very experienced, and then Wilson is working his way up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Wilson has a couple fights. You know, Wilson is 8-0 now. He has a couple fights, but he's not really that experienced either as much. But if you look at Welch is very, very experienced guy. You know, just as experienced as Pitbull. I mean, he's a veteran. So I mean, for Carvalho to beat him, I mean, it's possible, but I'm liking Welch for the win here, guys. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm liking Welch. I'm gonna say Welch by submission, guys, in the first round, and I'm not confident because, like I said, Welch sometimes he may be up and down, but he doesn't lose. He doesn't lose just to anybody. He only lose to top guys. So I don't think Pedro Carvalho is a top guy. So I mean, just in my opinion. So again, Carvalho is out of Dublin, fighting out of Dublin, Ireland. So he's the next SBG fighter again. So you have to be careful because they will slide these guys to win. If this goes to a decision, you could see Carvalho probably edging out split decision on this one. So be very, very careful. But I got Welch by submission first round, guys. Next fighter, we got James Gallagher versus Patchy Mix. James Gallagher, he's a well-rounded guy, usually striking to set up his takedowns. His submission games is thin. Like majority of his fights are won by submission, right? Kind of like a Conor McGregor kind of vibe to him. Oh no, man. I guess they're trying to brand him, or they were trying to brand him as a Conor McGregor, but it didn't happen because he lost to Ricky Banjas. So his opponent here, Patchy Mix. Patchy Mix is a well-rounded guy too. Both guys are kind of similar. They use to striking to set up the takedowns and look for the rear naked choke or any submissions that they're good at. Let me see here. He lost to one Argalega, which Archuleta is a good fighter, man. Archuleta is a very, very good fighter. So losing to Archuleta, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, one Archuleta will beat Gallagher, basically. Okay, if one Archuleta can beat Mix, he will beat Gallagher. Okay, let me see. I feel that Mix is just fighting tougher competition, and he has been fighting tougher competition. I feel Gallagher hasn't fought nobody, and even if you look at Gallagher, the guy that he lost to, Patchy Mix submitted that guy in the first round. And then Ricky knocked out Gallagher in the first round. I just feel with Gallagher, I mean, yeah, he's a decent fighter. He has skills here and there, but he hasn't fought nobody. The fights he have are easy fights. There's nothing to really push him. I feel Patchy Mix face some tougher competition, and with tougher competition, causes you to work a little harder. Albert Morales is a tough fight because this guy was in the UFC, and then Albert Morales will land the hands on you, and you have to be careful with him because he will knock you out, right? And then again, Juan Archuleta is a very good fighter. I mean, he fought for the belt, and then Ricky Banderas he beat Tony Gravel. I mean, Andre Ewell. I mean, these guys are a lot of these guys are in the UFC, and a lot of these guys are skilled fighters and very well rounded, right? Yeah, man, I'm liking Mix for this one, guys. And this is one I'm confident in. I like Patchy Mix for this one. And I'm going to say Patchy Mix by a submission, guys. I said it by submission in the first round. I'm confident. Patchy Mix submission first round. Main fight on the card here, guys. We have Peter Queally versus Patricky Pitbull. This is the other brother, guys. Oh, it's a 5-5. Oh. I believe the first fight wasn't a 5-5. That's interesting. I didn't catch that one. It was only 3-round fights. I know it's a 5-5. Oh, because it's a main fight on the card. That's why. Interesting. No. This may change a lot of things. That's interesting because I actually had Pitbull winning because I mean on the scorecard I had Pitbull winning all the way up, until he got cut. Which the cut was intentional because Queally meant to cut him because that's how he was going to win the fight. It was by a cut. Interesting here, guys. in that case, now I'm still having Pitbull winning the fight, but I was having Pitbull to win the fight by decision. But going 5 rounds with Queally, because Queally is a straightforward guy. He's going to keep coming at you. He's going to keep coming at you. And Queally has never been finished before. This is the problem with this fight, man. He has never been finished before. This could be the first time, though. This is the thing. If Pitbull don't put him away, Queally could win the fight, because just based off endurance and toughness and pushing forward and taking a bunch of damage. This is very interesting here. I have to change my outcome here. I have Pitbull winning, guys, but I have to change the outcome on this one. I have Pitbull winning here, guys. Like I said on the scorecard, I had him winning before he got cut, which again, he could get cut again, which is possible. You just never know. I mean, the cut was intentional. The cut was meant to cut him. The elbow was meant to do that. So they were looking to stop the fight. I must say Pitbull. I'm gonna say Pitbull by second round finish, guys. All right, so Pitbull by KO TKO in the second round, and I'm not confident because Pitbull he gets cut easily. So if Queally cut him again, then the fight will get stopped, and then he will win the fight. So like I said, the elbow was intentional, so they're looking to open up cuts on him because he cuts easily, and that's how they're going to win the fight. So he said he's going to do it again in a 5-round fight. If Pitbull don't put him away at least second or third round, he's going to cut him up. He's going to throw short little elbows. Even though that Pitbull is winning the fight, he's going to throw short little elbows in the pocket. Or if Pitbull chooses to take him down, which he probably may not take him down again because it's a takedown what caused the cut. Because again, you'll be winning the fight, you have the guy, and then all of a sudden the elbow hits you and you get cut, and the cut can't stop. If you can't stop the bleeding or you get cutting up in a spot where it's going in the eyes, then the fight will get stopped. So I'm liking Pitbull by second round KO TKO. I'm not confident, guys. Quick look at the odds here. Let's see. Check out the odds real quick. See what we're working with here. Let's see Bellator odds. Let's see some crazy odds, right? There shouldn't be any crazy odds on this card because these fights here should be very, very, very close, if not even. Let's see here. Morgan and Kelly. Oh boy, Kelly is 400. I disagree with that, guys. Believe you me. And we see this all the time, man. I'm gonna tell you guys something, man. If you see guys that making, they're making a debut into professional, and they're fighting a guy that's like have a professional record and he's like 3-0 and he has experience. Having the guy that's making his debut, he shouldn't be so high on the odds. It doesn't make any sense. And this is the case here. Morgan can win the fight because Morgan, from what I see, is not a bad fighter. His stand-up is not bad. And I can see him defend takedown from time to time. But he can get taken down, but he can also defend it. So Kelly being 400, dude, I'd be careful with that one. I'm putting careful right here. Careful. I would suggest do something with Morgan. Anytime you see anything like this, you always go under. If you want to put Kelly in a parlay, you could do it, but maybe one. But look to go under because, like I said, Morgan doesn't look bad. There's sometimes I may not give you, the right winner, but I could lead you towards something where, if the guy loses, at least you still win. So I disagree with the odds on that one. No way. Gökhan, okay, that's a fight bench. There's a lot of fights that fill up the card. Neilan and Audrey. The next one here, Neilan 600. I could see her winning, but the odds are too high, man. No. I have her winning, but no, the odds are off on this one too, guys. I'm not saying that Audrey is a better fighter or she's like gonna submit her, which is possible, but it's just the odds are off. None of these guys should be so high. It's totally ridiculous because the skill set is not there. They're almost close in skill. Bobby, Pallett, and Solli. Next one here, man. This is the next fight here. This is the odds here. I don't agree with this one. I have Bobby winning, but it should be closer. I disagree with the odds here again, guys. Gökhan and Charlie. Okay, this is one that I can agree with because Charlie is short notice, and what I see from Charlie, everything. His grown, his stand up does not look good. And what I see from Gökhan, he has takedowns, speed in his hands, and his whole foundation looks better. So the odds, I mean, his odds could be 1,000. So I agree with Gökhan winning this fight. All right, so the odds are about right in this one. Arunas and Lee. Arunas, I like what I see from Arunas, but I feel it's a little bit closer, guys. The odds on him is too high again. I feel it because he hasn't fought in a while. And Lee's an experienced guy, and Lee can get takedowns, and Lee can get submissions. And his striking is not on the level of Arunas, but still he can get takedowns, and he's experienced. So with Arunas being 300, 250, I disagree. This is a close fight. I would edge it to actually Arunas for the win, but it would be like more like a close to even, maybe like 140 or something like that. So I disagree with the odds in here. Hooi and Daniele, I disagree. This fight right here should be more of an even fight, guys, because Daniele could come in here and pull off a first round. He could come in here in the first round and get a submission, or he could take on Hooi and just ground and pound him. It's very possible. So Hooi being 270 straight across, I disagree because these guys are kind of close in skill. So I disagree with this one too. Man, the odds are off on this. Clarke and Barton. Okay, this makes sense. Because like I said, I could see Barton winning. Okay. This one I agree with. Even though Barton can get taken down, but I can also see Clarke. I could also see Barton getting the win. Even though he can get taken, I can see him reversing and pulling off a win here. So I do agree with this one. So this one is about right. Let me see here. Rishi. I don't think that fight's on here, is it? I think that fight got scratched. Did that fight get taken off? Let's see here real quick. Yeah, that fight got taken off. Let me see here. Sasu and Bulaid. It's the next one again. I like Bulaid. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's a good striker. Very good on the feet. Hand speed, everything. But we don't see enough of him on the ground. Sasu is more well-rounded from what I've seen. Not a lot of footage on him, but from what I see from the footages that are out there, he seems well-rounded. And what I see from Bulaid, you know, he can strike, but not much ground from him. So I disagree with the odds in here. This fight should be even fight, man. So be careful with this one too. I mean, I have Sasu for the win. Welch and Carvalho. Welch being 240 straight across, I actually don't disagree with this one. But again, still be careful because it's over there in Dublin, and if it goes to a decision, it could go split. You just never know. I like Welch for the win, but be careful. Alright, I don't disagree with the odds too much, but still be careful. Patchy mix, man, they're huge in Patchy mix, which is that's one of my confident plays there. They're huge in Patchy mix, which I actually don't disagree. I mean, does Gallagher have a chance? Possible, but Patchy mix has faced tougher competition, and you can look at his fights. You can look at Patchy mix fights and see that. You know, he's just faced tougher competition, and Gallagher hasn't. So I really don't disagree with the odds in here, but still be careful. But Patchy mix is my confident play though. So, okay. Patricky Fury and Peter Queally. Patricky Fury up in 200s. I would keep this a little bit lower, guys, and they're kind of risky here because the 5-rounder now. And Peter Queally, you know, the guy can take a hit and keep on going. And it's a 5-round, and if Fury get caught up again, the fight could get stopped. You know what I'm saying? But I'm liking Fury, but be careful with the odds in this one. Fights that I disagree with, just a quick recap here for you guys. Is the Sasu and Bulaid. I disagree with that one. Hooi and Daniele disagree. Arunas, Lee disagree. Bobby and Solli disagree. Kelly and Morgan disagree. Nearly all the fights I disagree with. So be very careful with this one here, guys. This card could be a lot of upsets in here because it just seems upside down to me. So that's about it, guys. I'm going to work on a UFC for you guys. Go knock that out. Sign up to my Patreon account. Hit the thumbs up button. Subscribe to this channel. One love to everybody. Keep on kicking. And os.